From Atlanta,
where the perimeter bears a striking resemblance to a cosmic anus.
it's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman.
Well, I'm Doug Nason.
So, let's talk about some stuff.
Yeah, right.
We saw Thor Ragnarok last night.
Gee, I wonder what song would be just epic for use in that film 17 or 18 times.
Yeah, definitely. It was in the trailer too. The immigrant song from Zeppelin.
From Led Zeppelin.
Oh, 2, I believe.
3.
Is it 3?
3.
Yeah, I'm not as...
That is my favorite Led Zeppelin album, as you will notice, because it's framed on the wall.
What's on that?
Basically,
Ramble On, right?
No.
Okay.
That's
on 2.
That's on 2. Yeah. The Immigrant Song is basically the only real rock song on Led Zeppelin 3, and then it gets kind of folky and instrumental.
Oh.
And it is amazing. When I used to work for Assassin back in San Diego, that was always the like the pre-show, the pre-everything, cassette back then.
Yeah.
And it literally is. It is the best Zeppelin album, hands down, in my opinion.
Right.
So, and it's impressive that they used it and used it a lot, because Zeppelin, it's not the Who. They don't just willy-nilly license their shit out for everything.
Yeah, I read...
Or should I say Pete Townsend?
Yes.
Because Daltrey, let's check for Daltrey's writing credits. Like, they're not there.
There's not much, if any. I don't know.
Yeah.
I read a thing today where the director, like, they used it for the sizzle reel for Marvel. Like, this is what we want to use, and they liked it so much, it fit so perfectly that they put it in the film, and they put it in, and they got permission, and they paid, obviously, but they got permission from Planet Page.
I would hope so.
Well, yeah, it's Marvel and Disney, yeah. And they said, we love this, and we want to use it twice, and we want to, for the second time, for the big battle on the bridge, spoilers, by the way, if you haven't figured out, we're going to spoil Ragnarok. They wanted to
Whoa. A battle on a bridge? That's giving away too much, man. There's fighting?
There's fighting in a Thor movie?
Oh, my gosh.
They wanted to do... They said, yeah, we want to use... we want to use Immigrant Song for the beginning and the end, and they said, hey, and Mark Mothersbaugh said, how great would it be? I want to use my 100-piece orchestra, and I want to beef it up and make it all big and orchestral, and Plant Page said, no one changes our music.
Oh, no shit.
That was the stipulation.
I agree with them 100%. I mean, yes, that would have been an interesting thing if you were doing a new recording, a cover version, but yeah.
I can see the embellishment of it and making it, but they were like, no one does that to our music.
Yeah, I got to side with Plant and Page on that. Sorry.
And there is, even though it's not lo-fi, I'm sure it was remastered, but I mean...
Oh, Jimmy Page has, I think, taken 2 passes at remastering. There was a remastering, I think, in the 90s, and then these 2 CD sets that he's been doing of all the Led Zeppelin stuff recently with, like, 4K, basically fuck your ear audio. I mean, every 20 years, Plan will be signing the approval, like, all right, Jimmy, you're going to remaster it again. Fine.
Well, people will buy it.
I'll take another couple of lorries backed up to my front door full of money. Exactly. Sure, why not?
But I think the having just the pure original recording really lent itself to it. Yeah, it made it didn't cheese it out any.
Yeah, it's the rock song.
It's the song.
It worked well. And while we're on the subject of music, Mark Mothersbaugh, hello. I mean, there's definitely been a trend lately in that minimalist electronica score and things like, good grief, what was the name of that, that turn of the century hospital drama on Showtime?
Oh, the Nick, right?
The Nick, exactly. Yeah. The Nick, Stranger Things,
yeah.
stuff like that. Where
even Blade Runner to a degree.
Blade Runner to a massive degree.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that was a throwback to the 80s when
Vangelis did the original score.
Is it Vangelis or Vangelis?
Now you're talking. That's a question.
Is it potato or potato? I don't know.
It's GIF is what it is.
Yes, not a GIF.
Not a GIF. No,
if you want a GIF, then unscrew the lid on the peanut butter
gar.
Peanut butter gar. Exactly. Yeah. So opening thoughts here, Senor Bauman. On a scale of meh to oh my God, Star Wars who? Where would you place Thor Ragnarok?
I'm gonna, I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. I think they finally figured out something to do with Thor to make it work, because the first two films, not so much.
Yeah, he up to this point he's had some lackluster standalones and some decent back and forth in the Avengers films, but nothing.
And
really
I think that's what it was. They were like, when they made him a little bit, when they used him as a little bit of comic relief, it worked. And
why don't we do a Thor movie where he's the star and he has some people to go back and forth with, and there's the comedy, and it worked. I'm hoping that they saw his performance in Ghostbusters, because I thought he was genius in that. They said a lot of what he did, as I believe his name was Kevin, was just him. He was kind of, and Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig were like, when the fuck did this guy learn to ad-lib and improv like this? And he was naturally funny. So I'm hoping that was a factor. But I mean, I think I have two slight problems with the film. And one of them is not the film's fault. Okay. Source material?
No, no, not at all. Situation. I think I would have enjoyed. We saw it as this recording last night, which was a Sunday night at 9:30. There was only about 15 people in the theater, which normally I like, but I think in a room full of nerds, it would have been a much better experience.
Oh yeah,
laughter and the comedy would have played a lot better than just us going. You know what I mean? And the other issue I have, and it's not so much an issue, it's, I think, like we said, they said, okay, let's make this a fun, funny movie, and that'll work. I think they needed to dial it back about 2 clicks, because it got a little bit cheesy at times for me. I think they pushed it just a hair too far in a lot of instances, and they could have dialed it back and it would have landed perfectly for me.
I think they kind of hit it right on the mark, in my opinion. I mean, for those who are just joining us now in the series,
how did you?
Welcome, welcome. I mean, in the series of this podcast.
Oh yeah.
I have no history at all with the comics at all. I take the movies as they come and enjoy them or not enjoy them based on the film solely. Dan has some experience.
Not a lot with Marvel,
yeah,
but,
you're a DC.
And not a lot with Thor, but I have read. So.
Yeah. And I'd put Thor as the third jewel in the triumvirate of awesome Marvel films alongside the first Guardians of the Galaxy and...
Iron Man?
No. Deadpool.
Oh, Deadpool. Well,
Deadpool.
Okay.
Now,
I'm thinking MCU. That's Fox. So,
but it's still Marvel.
Yeah.
It's still Marvel.
But that's why I didn't. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, Daredevil is. You couldn't dial back the comedy on Daredevil on Deadpool.
Yeah.
That needs to be dialed as far forward as possible, which they did.
Exactly. Yeah. So they did it correctly because they had fucked it up so bad in Wolverine. Like they had Deadpool. If you hadn't seen it, I mean, in I believe it was the first Wolverine standalone. They had Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, and they just fucked it up in every possible way you could think of. They got it wrong.
Yeah. Well, they corrected that.
They did.
I mean, let's face it. They're willing to come back to the well to refresh and refurbish.
I think
the Hulk, perfect example.
Yeah, they learn from their mistakes.
That sucked. All right, we'll do it again. Well, that sucked. Well,
That
we'll
sucked
do it
even
again.
worse. Well, okay, well, let's do it again. And that's it.
There
The
we
third
go.
guy, they got the right guy to be Banner, and they figured it out. Again, you can't do a whole Hulk movie, I don't think, and they used him. It's hard. It's hard because you can't have him. I don't know. It's hard to make it work right.
You can. They've done the origin story, obviously, but that's where the backstory to the Hulk character adds dimension to what happens in some of the ensemble film.
Right.
You know what came before, what he went through, et cetera, et cetera. It just hasn't been quite done properly yet. And I think at this point, it would be a waste of time to go back and do another Hulk origin picture with Mark Ruffalo.
No, not at all. You can't. There's no point to it.
And he's already so well established.
He's been the Hulk in 4 movies at this point. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, at least 3, if not 4.
Yeah. So we're not going to be able to, but let's face it. How often can you ask fans to, we're going to get it right this time? And, at this point, if they were to do a Hulk standalone, I think they would knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
But why?
But I think they figured it out that this was the perfect marriage to have a Hulk movie inside a Thor movie.
Right. Well, Planet Hulk film.
It's basically that. We
got Planet Hulk and a Hulk standalone. Thor
really.
Standalone hasn't been working. You put chocolate in my peanut butter.
Exactly. The first Avengers movie, man, when the Hulk knocks Thor out of the frame and everybody died laughing. They're like, wait a minute, there's something here.
And we get Valkyrie.
We get Valkyrie, who was great. She was awesome.
She reminded me a little bit of what's that the angry girl from Lost in the
Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, she reminds me just a tad of a little less angry Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Just a bit. So, but of course, the female star of that film.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Crushing hardcore.
I mean, it's amazing. You have a comic book movie, and you have Sir Anthony Hopkins and Cate Blanchett, two top Shakespearean actors who are.
Is Cate Blanchett Shakespearean?
That's a good question.
I mean, just because she's British, does not mean she's Shakespearean.
I assume, but she is absolutely one of our best actresses.
She's working.
One of our best actors, I should say. But she destroyed it. I mean, she did the perfect amount of scenery chewing but being also believable and scary. Just confident to the point of she wasn't, for lack of a better term, a cartoony villain. It was, I'm the goddess of death and there's nothing you can do about it, and she was right.
I really like how they did not build up to, oh my god, is she that powerful? Oh my god, is she that no, boom, Thor's hammer, crushed, done.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're leading with a thermonuclear device rather than a gun.
We're not. There's no subtlety here.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, they're fucked from the get-go.
From the get-go, yeah.
So, yikes. Now, just skipping around a bit, at the end, I honestly thought that if they just moved the people, which is Asgard, her power would diminish because...
That makes sense.
Right. Why destroy... treat it like a neutron bomb in the sense that you remove the people and all that's left is the infrastructure. Sure, she can be queen of, the Bifrost. The sword's not there, so she can't go anywhere. So she's just going to hang out and be there in an empty place. But they had to put the skull in the eternal fire.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I think... just like every good comic book villain, again, spoilers, there's no way that she's done. And
well, did we see her die?
And you nailed it. They made a very big point of, she gets her power from Asgard, and Asgard is the people. So she's going to show up again. And I don't know if in Infinity War or after or Thor 4 or whatever.
And apparently... Asgard is now going to be Norway,
Yeah.
Oklahoma. I mean,
Well, Norway makes sense. I mean, obviously, but yeah, it's going to be Earth.
It's
kind of.
yeah.
Maybe. Is it?
So could be interesting. I don't know. When you move a people into an area where other people are, what you think? 60 years of fighting and stuff like that might happen.
No. There's no precedent for
no
such
precedent for that.
for such
okay,
a thing like that.
we'll be generous and welcoming.
Of course,
Please
of
move
course.
move into these lands.
Yes, we will. Yes,
this will be fine.
Come along.
Oh, you were here back in the day, and that's how no, we're not going to worry about that. And tortured analogy over.
Yes. What else?
The opening scene. Oh my God.
That was pretty clever.
I was like, who is he talking to? And he's talking to a skull.
He's talking to a skeleton. And...
I tell you, the Deadpool touch that I loved. He's talking to what was the name of the evil fire beast?
Yeah, I know.
Fire beast dude.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Sorry, nerds. We didn't get it.
Oh, coming around.
Yeah,
circling around.
Yeah, they have him chained up in the bird cage, and they drop him as you saw in the trailer, and then he's hanging there on the chain. And
I swear I'm not doing this. It's
he's slowly spinning. It's like coming around.
And evil fire dude was very patient. He's like, all right.
Yep.
That was some very good CG there.
It was.
I mean, that looked like a literal. Like a face that was on fire.
Evidently, it was performance capture, and it was.
I don't doubt it.
And it was the director. It was his performance. It was not his voice, but it was his movements. He wanted it very specific, and why not? Why not do it that way?
Interesting.
Evidently, it was Clancy Brown, everyone's favorite Kurgan, and everything else from every comic book.
The worst screw that ever walked the ship
exactly.
in Shawshank.
Yep. And he's actually played both sides of the aisle, because now he's been Sakaar, I want to say, which is probably wrong. The fire beast dude, and he was also Lex Luthor in a lot of the Superman cartoons.
The voice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was on The Flash as some other guy. So he's been he's a total nerd, and he's played.
Yes, and guess what I just read today?
What?
Disney.
I saw that.
I mean, at some point, I guess it's going to be Disney and Sony, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because Disney and Sony will never merge. It'll never happen.
Yes, Disney has put in a bid or is in talks or something.
To sell off most of the assets of 20th Century Fox or 21st Century Fox.
I thought they were going to... I thought they were going to buy 21st Century Fox.
I read that they were looking to buy the assets of 20th Century Fox, and it would stay something outside. I mean, I may be wrong.
Yeah.
But let's just say that Disney and 20th Century Fox, for all intents and purposes, are going to theoretically merge if Disney gets their way.
And actually, it would be absorbed into Disney as well.
Right. But whether 20th Century would remain a shingle as a subsidiary of Disney?
I like to think, and this is just me.
I don't like to think.
Well,
I like to react from my gut, my sizable gut.
On this, I like to think the only reason they're doing that is so they can put the 20th Century Fox logo back on the Star Wars.
Oh my God.
How amazing would that be?
Oh my God.
The one change I could be good with.
Oh my! I did not even think about that.
Obviously that was the absolute first thought.
I got that fanfare back at the beginning of definitely too late for Last Jedi, but for episode 9 or a standalone,
and then whatever.
Well, actually, no, they wouldn't. Well, they could do the fanfare for a standalone, but no, because
they don't need it.
It needs
That's
to lead
Disney,
in. Yeah, for episode. Oh wow!
How amazing would that be? And then just for subsequent, reissues of
the DVD, throw the fanfare
throw it on there, remix it.
Wow. I don't know if the Producers Guild would allow that because it didn't go through 20th Century Fox when it was released, so
right.
I don't...
No, they probably couldn't, but to get it back just for episode 9, which theoretically should be the last saga movie, theoretically.
Skywalker saga. They may start a whole nother thing.
Oh, they probably will. They're not going to stop making Star Wars.
Who knows?
Movies.
Well, no, of course not.
But I just think we're done with episodes. I don't know if we're going to get... Unless it's... Well, no, you're right. It could be episodes, but I don't think it'll be saga.
Right. They're not going to do episode 10 because that would indicate a continuation of the Skywalker story. So maybe it'll just be...
Maybe they'll reclassify it as something else.
Part A? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, that, of course, that was the absolute first thing I thought of. They own Star Wars. They're going to put it back on the thing.
Oh, wow. I tell you, I don't know if I've told you this, but when Phantom Menace, before I was just so dejected by what I actually saw, when that fanfare came up in the theater, I teared up, and everyone, myself included, applauded.
Absolutely,
just to hear that. I mean, they may have heard that fanfare in 100 other films, and since '83. Yeah. But that fanfare in front of the film they were about to see,
in front of those words that was coming up,
it was a time machine back to their childhood. Absolutely. And it was for me too. I was like, "Oh, this feels so
I've told this on podcast many times, but like I said, when I was a kid,
say it again, Dan. Say it again.
Every time a 20th Century Fox movie came up, I was disappointed because it wasn't Star Wars, because I thought that was the beginning of Star Wars. I had no idea what it meant. I was like, "Oh, that's the stuff that happened before."
They even did it on the Star Wars Story album.
Yes,
I listened to that. I mean, that is where I, before home video and stuff, I learned the dialogue. Yep. I even know the narration. Like when I'm watching the film, I can remember the narration that was being done on the album.
Roscoe Lee Brown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they started it off with that fanfare.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away,
a great adventure took place.
Yeah, that was
see, there you go.
Yep, I had all those. Oh,
kicking it old school. But back to Thor.
Back to Thor.
And sorry DC, but Marvel didn't fall on this one.
No.
I mean, let's face it. Ultron was a little lackluster.
Yeah,
not the greatest, but it's still emptied a couple billion out of the coffers of America, so a success financially.
Yeah, of course. And they're not gonna I don't foresee a Marvel bomb of any kind. People are gonna go see it.
There'll be better Marvel and lesser Marvel films, but none of them are gonna be like, ooh.
Like I've seen the first Guardians of the Galaxy 5 times, 6 times. I've seen the first Avengers movie 3, 4 times. I've seen Ant-Man once.
Right.
I've seen Doctor Strange once. They're good. They're real good.
They're solid.
I think I'll probably see Guardians 2 one more time. They're great. I didn't run out and grab them. And this is the same way. I don't have any of the Thor movies. And I was like, this is really great.
This one, however, I think I might get this one. Because I don't think I own any, other than a Deadpool. I don't think I own any of the Marvel films at all.
I think the only one I own
is Guardians, of course.
Yeah,
Guardians.
I think that's the only one I technically own as well, is Guardians.
But then again, all the stuff that I watch and somewhat enjoy, if I bought the Blu-ray of everything, I'd have like 1,000. Oh, wait, I do. I'd have even more.
He's not lying. He does. I can almost see him from here. So what else? Okay, Loki.
Yeah. Apparently, at the beginning, again, we're going to say it a few more times. Spoilers, people.
Yeah.
I thought, Odin seems a little cha-cha-cha, a little... Well, something's a little...
You must have not seen... Did you see Dark World or not, the second one? I don't know if you did.
Probably not.
Because that was set up at the end. Like, you saw, basically, Odin, transform into Loki. You saw that he had taken over Asgard. So I kind of knew that was going on.
See, I didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, that doesn't seem very Odin-like. Is it going to be that kind of film where everyone's being, a comedy chuckle fest? I don't know if I liked it. Then it turns out
Loki was masquerading as Odin. And that was all set up. So
again,
and also just a sidebar, Odin was sitting watching a performance of basically the events of Thor: The Dark World with different actors, with actors portraying, and it turns out the actor playing Thor was Luke Hemsworth,
right,
his brother, and Loki was portrayed by Matt Damon. Because fucking Matt Damon.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Why wouldn't you?
He's in everything.
Yeah.
Well, he has a lot of time because he keeps getting bumped off the Kimmel show.
Right. We ran out of time. And yeah. But yeah, Loki had taken over, and I knew that was going on. So Loki, they were dancing around with him a lot in this movie because it's like, he's helping, he's not. He's helping, he's for himself.
He's Loki.
Yeah, he's Loki. That's kind of his. Deal.
If he's helping, it's to serve him or to make him feel good about himself, or other people to adulate him a little bit.
Right.
But as soon as squirrel, and he's off doing evil.
Yeah, more or less.
He was
the one who planted that squirrel anyway. He let that squirrel out so he could go get it. And
I really liked as they were walking to the ship, all of a sudden like, and he's peeling away from himself.
Yeah.
All right, here comes sure enough,
yep. There's the double cross, and then Thor knocks him out because he's like, I saw the double cross coming. We've done this before.
Yeah. I kind of view the death of Odin in some way like a family funeral, where that one relative that never comes around, but he's dead, and they show up at the funeral or at the wake, and just cause havoc. That's Hela,
Yes.
It's like, I was only staying away because of that old fucker, but he's dead now. Oh, it's on.
It's on.
I'm going to tell all y'all
what I think of you.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Less horns coming out of the head, but you get the picture. Pretty much a similar situation.
Yeah.
Can we please talk about Jeff Goldblum?
Yes. Jeff Goldbluming it up a lot.
I mean, he has become kind of like Jack Nicholson in the sense that he's always Jeff Goldblum in these roles now.
Yes.
There was a time when there was acting. I mean, he's still acting, obviously, but it was distinct from his own, if not his own personality, than his usual. But anything I've seen Goldblum in the last, 5-10 years has been very Goldblum.
Yes, without a doubt. Did you notice the little reunion that was kind of happened in this movie?
Between
there was a little Jurassic Park reunion.
Again, I watched the first one maybe 2 or 3 times.
No. Jeff Goldblum was the game master.
Right.
The actor who played Odin in said little play with that Loki Odin was watching was Sam Neill.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, is that Sam Neill? And I read today, that was Sam Neill. So
see, that's the great thing about these Marvel films. Like, excuse me, you can carry films on your own. You're well respected. You won't take anything for. We're offering you a 10-second part in a Marvel picture. Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, Matt Damon, sure, we'll pop in for half a second. Yeah. I mean, let's face it. Anthony Hopkins' screen time, I'm going to give it a generous 5 minutes total.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe if you include the stuff when he's Loki, we'll stretch it to 7.
And the stuff with him in the first movie is actually really good. The first movie was directed by Kenneth Branagh, and the Shakespearean Loki, Odin, Thor stuff was actually very
Kenneth
good.
Branagh. Yes, he is a Shakespearean actor.
Exactly. Yes, as is Hopkins. And using the framework, the Shakespearean framework for the relationship between Odin and the sons worked really well, and he was
kind of Lion in Winter in a way.
Yeah, absolutely, King Lear-ish and the two sons and all that. And going, in Dark World, I barely remember him being in it at all. I barely remember it at all. That's how.
You know why I don't remember it?
Because you didn't see it.
I have not seen it,
and.
Not out of I've been avoiding it. I think it just escaped me.
We caught it like after the fact, one of those things. Like we didn't go see it. No, actually we did. We saw it, but we saw it at like a second run theater, like
a dollar
theater, yeah. And like I was like, all right. And honestly I think the main reason we went and saw it in the movies was because it was tied into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we were watching that on time. So we were like, we got to go see it.
That's the other thing. I would have to have an advanced degree in like calculus and theoretical physics to be able to map out what shows I need to watch and when to watch it. I know there's probably a guide out there.
There is. I know.
But it's like, you got to see these 3 episodes before you see Dark World, but don't watch that one before you see. I'm like, you know what?
At the time, it was real time. Like, they did, like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was really in sync with the Marvel Universe, because I remember the episode the Tuesday before Winter Soldier, Captain America came out. Like,
damn good film.
Damn good film, and like at the end, near the end of the episode, there, you know, all hell starts breaking loose at Shield, you know, and there's some shit about, you know, Nick Fury is missing or something. So they tied it like days before right into it, and they were right and real in sync with it. And the Thor episode, the Dark World Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, was after the movie because they came in to do cleanup. So I think we might have seen the movie and been like, all right, we can't watch this until we see the movie, you know. But anyway.
I mean, I don't have a problem with franchises asking me to pay attention and watch things in a certain order to get. It's just that I'm just not as invested in the Marvel Universe as some. I enjoy the films.
Well, and this is kind of unprecedented. I mean, you know, most movie series are a series. And, you know, there are some offshoots that aren't technically even canon.
Right.
But this is all, like, tied in.
Theater, television, streaming.
Yeah.
You know, between Netflix, you know, what is it, ABC, because it's Disney, and the films.
Yeah.
That's a
it's
lot
a ton to keep track of.
That's a lot of content. That box set, when it comes out, of the Marvel Universe.
Oh, there is already one. Yeah,
is going to kill people. It's going to be. They're going to have to get a forklift to be able to, you know, drive it to the house.
And a bank loan.
Yeah, exactly.
But going back to,
I mean, we can pay off the mortgage or get the Marvel Universe. Oh, we're getting the Marvel Universe.
Oh yeah, we can live in the box. It's big
exactly.
enough.
Exactly. We'll just put the box up to the next to the house, and we'll make an addition.
Yeah. But going back, Anthony Hopkins, very, very small amount, but good. I liked his, you know, the way they used him and utilized him. They didn't overutilize him. And from what I understand, it is that's kind of, the lore. Like, Odin does kind of become, like a doddering old man in the eye. You know, he loses the eye and he just wants the comforts of man or something. I've read stories like that.
Yeah.
And they used it really well.
Well, and also I appreciate the fact that you got Sir Anthony Hopkins in the film, and you didn't try to cram him into 6 or 7 other scenes because you have Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
You used him as he was needed, and then he was done.
Right.
You know, which is, you know.
And it was like he was in one of the last Transformers movie.
Oh God.
And I'm sure he was in one scene, and he said he didn't. I even saw an interview with him. He's like, I don't even understand what any of this is, but you know, and that's like a paycheck movie. And
exactly.
This was not. You know, playing Odin is something different. You know, you don't even have to say, you know, this is a comic book movie. You can say that, you know, you're playing Odin, the All Father, and he'd be like, oh, right. I can wrap my head around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't begrudge an actor for taking a paycheck gig because, hey, if you're able to make that kind of money, if you're in demand,
if Michael Bay comes up and says, I'm going to pay you X amount of millions of dollars to do this dopey thing for 2 weeks or 4 days, you're going to say yes.
Anthony Hopkins says, can you hold a second? Puts the phone to his chest and looks at his Oscar on the mantle and goes, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Like, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's, you know, now it's when you do paycheck film after paycheck film after paycheck film and then do an actual film called Paycheck.
Yeah.
People kind of go, hey, you had some promise at one point. Maybe you should pull back. And he did.
He did.
And he came back with
another Oscar.
Hollywoodland. And, that came a little bit later.
Then The Town.
He kind of redeemed himself a bit as an actor.
It took him 3 or 4 movies. Yeah, you're right. Hollywoodland.
To start
actor.
directing. He got it for Argo.
He got it for Argo, which was after The Town. Like, he got nominated, or The Town got nominated for Best Picture, but he didn't get Best Actor, and then that got remedied on Argo.
Was he in The Town? I thought he was just director and maybe writer on that.
I think so, yeah. But the town itself got nominated for Best Picture, but he didn't get nominated for Best Director. Yeah, that was a thing. So Argo comes around, and
it's the Academy certainly kind of goes, all right, you seem to be kind of coming back, but we're not quite ready. You're doing Academy Award-winning caliber work, but we're not going to let you have it just yet.
There was one Kevin Smith story I said back when him and Affleck were still really tight. Affleck said something to the fact of, I want to do a Daredevil movie, and you're going to write it. And Kevin Smith said, motherfucker, one of us has an Oscar for writing it. It isn't me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
But his movie is coming up in 2 weeks, so we'll see it. Yeah.
I still think it's a horrible mistake to rush Justice League.
No, it is. It's an absolute.
It's too soon. Idea. You need to have at least an Aquaman. I don't think you can. I don't know if a Cyborg film would work by itself. But at least an Aquaman. Could. Aquaman. Well, if you do it right, any film could work.
Yeah.
If you do it right. And what's the most important thing about doing a film correctly?
That would be the writing.
The writing, yes. Yeah. So that's let's face it. On paper, not the script, but on paper, Guardians of the Galaxy. What the fuck is this shit?
Raccoons
Who
and
cares?
Talking trees. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get the writing and the script, and you're like, yeah, that works perfectly. And I did not know any of these characters, even not a single one did most people even know existed.
Exactly.
I mean, the comic book
like
guys
I said, they were
know.
a D tier book.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone's like, we're going to do what?
The power of writing. Yeah. So it could be. But you know what? You only have, what do you have? You have a Batman. Have we had a Flash film? We have not had a Flash film.
No, that there is, that has been going back and forth between directors and up and down, and that's in production hell right now.
Well,
or pre-production.
So was Wonder Woman for the longest time. So
right.
And Wonder Woman came out and did very well.
Yeah.
But when you're doing an ensemble picture where you only have standalones for 2 out of the 5 characters,
5 to 6 depending on who you consider. Yeah.
Well, was it one? Well. Is Superman going to make an appearance in Justice League?
Yes, he is.
I mean, we know he's going to come back. Just whether he's going to come back in Justice League or whether he's going to come back.
He'll probably come back at the end of Justice League
and save the day.
Yes, it'll be it's Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash.
Right.
And the Flash is nobody at this point. And
right. But the Flash has some name recognition due to the television series.
Oh,
and previous stuff.
This iteration of the Flash.
Right. But Cyborg, outside of the comic book, nobody knows who this, unless he shows up in some of the TV shows that I'm not aware of.
Not in the live action stuff. He is big in his team was called Teen Titans, and it was him, Robin. It was him. We're
gonna fight the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We're gonna fuck your shit up.
Him, Robin, Starfire.
Robin is in like Batman's Robin.
Yep.
Okay.
Raven and Beast Boy. And they did 2 animated versions. They did like a kind of serious with a little anime flair, which was good. And they do a show called Teen Titans Go, which is absolute insanity. It's hilarious, but they take full advantage of the fact that it's a cartoon, and it's amazing.
Okay,
but
all right.
Like I said, Cyborg is a lower end character, but I like the fact that they're using the diversity. It's like, a bunch of white guys, and okay, we've got a woman, but let's use the fact that we have an African American character who does.
Is Cyborg? Has he always been African American?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, good deal.
Victor Stone.
All right, and I saw that in the theater, the poster for Black Panther. Looking good.
We saw the trailer too. We were walking in. That movie's gonna crush.
The Revolution will not be televised.
Yeah.
It'll be shown in a theater near you.
Yeah, and you were funny. We were looking at the poster, and it's all the characters, including Martin Freeman and
Andy Serkis.
And Andy Serkis, and you were like, I'm betting those are the bad guys, and I was like, I'm betting you're right. But that movie, talk about Marvel movie that movie's going to be amazing.
Good. I hope so. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Chadwick Boseman is amazing, and Michael B. Jordan, and Lupita Nyong'o, and James R. Frickin' Jones. Or am I thinking of Lion King?
I think you're thinking of the Lion King.
Lion King. I'm sorry.
Are you going to Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker. Yes.
So now he's joining the Sam Jackson ranks of people who have been in Marvel films and in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
So that crossover, it's like, I'm 2 franchises strong, motherfucker. But back to Thor.
Yeah.
Is it my imagination, or does the Hulk talk a hell of a lot more in this than he ever has? There's been some, guttural utterances and a couple of maybe a sentence or two.
Yeah.
But we're talking full conversations in this.
That I was thinking about. And I was thinking about that all day. And what?
Well, when you've been the Hulk for 2
years, that's exactly what it
you're
is.
able to stabilize and maybe...
In the movie, he said that when Banner comes back, basically, he says that he felt like he was locked in the trunk and the Hulk had taken over and he'd been there for 2 years and he didn't even realize. That's the only thing that makes sense.
I like the analogy for, normally it feels like both I and Hulk have one hand on the steering wheel. Yeah. That was what led up to now he's been driving and I've been in the trunk.
And that's always been a kind of a thing with him is... that's one of his fears is that he's never going to be able to transform back. It's, yes, I'm going to transform into a monster, and yes, I might kill a lot of people, but I might not be able to come back and stop this. And I'm glad they added that in.
But we know what tames the savage beast.
Yeah, the fucking sunset.
No.
Oh, well, yeah.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
That, because they kind of teased a little bit of, a little
romance.
A little romance, a little flirtation, low key, nothing, nothing stupid and, take me in your arms bullshit, but just, a little bit of something.
Yeah, they had a lot in common, and the whole sunset thing got way tired.
I know.
It worked in Ultron.
and then Banner's like, stop talking about the sunset, Jesus. I think I'm okay. I think I can leave the Hulk behind. Let's do this. Face full of green paint.
Yeah.
Hulk signs and
everywhere.
Effigies everywhere.
And he said something about I'm trying to calm down and I'm on a planet that's completely designed to stress me out.
And it's an interesting concept. I don't know. I'm guessing they took this out of the comics, but if we had the technology, damn well we would shove all our garbage into a wormhole to drop it somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Let's designate the moon or Jupiter or whatever.
Or we don't care.
Or we don't care.
That's more like it.
It goes into a planet. It's not going to be floating in space and bump into our ships. Fine. And we'll just wormhole all our garbage onto this one world.
Yeah.
And, scavenger's paradise.
Completely, yeah.
I mean,
that was an interesting planet because it was the scavengers and trash, and they had the gladiatorial games, and it's like, that's kind of what would happen. Somebody was smart enough to figure out how to make money off of just people
beating. Well, it goes back to
to
Roman
Romans.
Times, and except they didn't have a 200-foot hologram of what was his name? Mastermind. Was that his name?
The Game Master, I think.
No. There was a Grandmaster.
Grandmaster. Yeah.
Grandmaster was, and apparently he is either a relative or part of a collective with the Collector.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was reading about that.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
They're like a race that does stuff.
Yeah, they're like this, the blacksmith.
I mean, yeah, the article mentioned like 17 other characters and how they interact. I'm like,
that's the problem. That's the other problem.
I can barely keep the thing is that they're parsing it pretty well in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
The Marvel Universe itself is so unbelievably
staggering.
Dense. We're 60, 70 years in on it.
Right.
And
back in the 60s, Stan Lee punches in and it's like, all right, today's Monday, new character. By the end of the week, fifth new character.
Him and Jack Kirby just cranking them out.
Doing this, doing that.
Steve Ditko, just banging this stuff out.
Exactly. Evil tarantula guy. There's a new character.
Right. They did it all the time, and it just got, and other writers would come along later and say, I liked this weird dude, and I'm going to make him a thing.
Right.
And it just, became what it is.
And Feige is smart in that he's filtering, the universe. He's not trying to pack, like, we've got 200 unused characters. Let's get them in here. Like, no. We're going to maybe slowly bring them in.
There was a couple that I read a bunch of stuff on Ragnarok. They said there was one character named Beta Ray Bill who they wanted to use in this, and they're like, no, he'll show up. He's well known and he'll show up, but we got too much going on in this.
Right.
We'll hold him off. Maybe Infinity War, maybe not. Maybe we'll allude to him. Marvel, Feige is really fucking smart with that.
The thing is that they've already announced Infinity War. It's probably already in production. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
They're all here.
That's right. That's what's been tearing up traffic downtown.
Plus, as of this recording, as we're recording this right this moment at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, there is a staged reading of Our Town going on with Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., what's his name, Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, and one of them
others,
and I think Chris Evans. So like the whole Avengers team is doing Our Town right now as we speak. Right. And I had a chance to go to that, and it was wicked expensive. It's a benefit for I think Puerto Rico.
Well, they did that with The Princess Bride. There was a stage reading.
I missed that.
On one hand, I love The Princess Bride. On the other hand, a reading with some actors that I like in certain things is like,
it would have been really cool.
It would have been a unique event. It's, for sure. Once, we're getting something in Atlanta that they're not getting in Los Angeles or New York.
Yep.
That's, finally.
Finally. And luckily, I think more of that stuff's going to happen since so much has been going on here.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. We have a Republican governor, so he'll probably pull the tax credits.
Oh, they've talked about that.
Yeah, of course they have, because it's like, all this money that's pouring into the state, we'd rather have the tax money from productions that are not going to happen because the tax. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
You got to balance. You don't want to give away the store where they pay nothing to be here. But even if they did pay nothing in taxes to be here, they're pumping money into the local economy.
Yeah.
Not through tax collection, but through just, utilizing resources, people.
And jobs.
And, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, don't make this mistake that, was it Wilmington something, where they used to film Dawson's Creek?
Yeah, North Carolina.
I remember, was that it?
Yeah, it was North Carolina.
And they decided to kill the credits, and the show moved, or some shows, or maybe this was after, they said, all right, fine, bye. And they went to Toronto, or they went to somewhere, or Vancouver, or some other state in the union, because why would we want to pay full price where we are?
Yeah,
we can move. We're Hollywood.
Yeah, they did.
Or we're not Hollywood. We're Hollywood on the road.
What's what happened with the CW shows, with the DC stuff, because Arrow and Flash were going strong. Legends of Tomorrow had just started, and Supergirl was on CBS, and it was filmed in L.A., and all those other ones were filmed in Vancouver, and it did okay, but it didn't do like CBS ratings. So they're like, well, we're going to cancel it. And Berlanti was like, no, we'll take it. We'll bring it up to Toronto, or we'll bring it up to Vancouver.
We'll slash 10% off the budget. By moving it elsewhere.
Yeah, we'll get rid of Calista Flockhart. And she was really good in the show.
She was good. I watched probably the first 6 episodes, and then I went,
yeah, I enjoy it, and it's where it belongs. It fits in with all those other shows.
Right. Well, my rule. If I find that the only reason I'm watching a show is because there's a pretty girl in it, God bless her, but I know,
Yeah, no, I get that. I think she's a fantastic actress.
Oh yeah, she's fine and everything. Yeah. I have nothing really bad to say against Supergirl itself. It's just,
it's kind of, what do you care?
At a certain point, I'm just like, you know what? There's so much other stuff.
Yeah, and again, that goes also along with that's tying into 4 other shows at this point. Well, 3 other shows, and the 5th one is coming up soon for next
Flash
season.
And Green Arrow.
Flash and Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl. It's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they're going to add Black Lightning, I think, and it's just out of control because you gotta like that's the one I watch with the flow chart because it's like okay this then this then this episode then this episode.
If I need a degree in statistical analysis to be able to keep up with the universe, I'm kind of out.
Yeah,
I'll pick and choose. I mean, I'll definitely see Infinity War. I'll definitely see Black Panther.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna invest myself in like, oh, there's a cameo from this and it relates to this and
see, and that's the beauty of it. Like that stuff is great. Like if you know what that is, and if it doesn't,
exactly.
It doesn't affect you at all.
You do something for the hardcore fanboys and for the casual, consumer of entertainment. Which, in the case of Marvel films, that's what I am.
Yeah,
very casual.
Yeah, they did, I think, a brilliant little bit of retconning in Ragnarok because I think as a little Easter egg in one of the Thor films, probably the first one, when they showed Odin's vault, they showed the Infinity Gauntlet. Mm-hmm. And Hela just knocked it off the pedestal in Ragnarok saying fake. And I was like, that's brilliant because I think they probably didn't realize when they were in phase 1, we're going to do Infinity War in phase 3. And they put it in as like, hey, look what we got. And now it's like, oh, well, we can't. Oh, fuck. We're fucked.
You know what? And that there's somebody paying attention to do that. Thank you. Yeah. And to do it that way in
perfect.
It
perfect,
makes,
elegant, and funny.
It adds to the comedy. It adds to the badassery of her.
Yep.
It's absolutely... Now, of course, you notice what also was in that vault.
Well, there was a bunch of stuff. It was a Tesseract.
Yeah.
And we noticed Loki looking at it.
He stopped and kind of hovered at that for a second.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he hovered and moved away or if he hovered and then they cut.
They cut.
They cut?
Oh, they absolutely cut.
So I'm thinking that...
and even if they didn't, he could always come back.
Loki, I think Loki is definitely going to be a part... Well, let's face it. I think everyone's going to be a part of Infinity War.
It's good. That thing is going to be insane.
But the thing that makes me a little... I'm thinking they might be doing Infinity War just a little too soon because as they develop these other characters, they're raising the stakes because some people have got to die and stay dead after Infinity War.
They're going to. They're going to because you're getting into Robert Downey Jr. has been doing this for 14 years or however long. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Since like what 2000 and
it's at least 10 years. And
I don't know.
There are too many characters.
Well, he already said no to another Iron Man film.
Oh yeah,
standalone. So that kind of tells Marvel like, oh, he's agreeing to do this other thing. Okay.
And again, if there's no stakes involved,
right? Then who cares?
Who cares?
We know that these characters are never going to die.
Right.
Well, you know what? If
it's time.
If Robert Downey Jr. pulls a Harrison Ford and says, "I'll be in Infinity War. You kill me off at some point, and then I'll put a bow on my Iron Man career and walk away.
Let me do my sacrifice like in Avengers, but actually die and be done. So I think they have to, and they set it up in Ultron or whatever, his vision of all the dead Avengers. They have to start cutting them down. They have to start getting rid of anybody because again, if there's no stakes, who cares? Like we said. So I'm trying to think of anything.
Are we going to get Thor's hammer back in subsequent films?
I don't think so. I think he's going to be Lightning Boy from now on, which was pretty badass.
No. We call him Sparkles.
Sparkles? That was pretty great. That was... The back and forth, like I said, it got a little much at times, but there was some funny shit in the movie.
Yeah, Jeffrey Goldblum definitely hammed it up.
Yeah, they just kind of let him go.
It's like, what? He just talked out of turn. He doesn't get the melt stick.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the greatest comedic character in the entire film.
The rock guy.
Korg. I believe his name is Korg.
Right. And I believe it was Rhys Darby who did the voice.
Haven't looked. It doesn't. I'm not quite sure.
All right. Through the magic of recording, we looked it up, and it was not Rhys Darby. I was incorrect. It was Taika Waititi, I want to say, the actual director of the film.
Wow. So he's basically, two characters now?
Yeah.
Well done for him.
And he was actually in the awful Green Lantern movie, from what I understand, the Ryan Reynolds movie, and that's what evidently the shake weight was was a callback to
the shake weighty.
Yeah, shake weighty.
Don't make it green or animated.
Yeah. I
You gotta fit that was a god awful.
I don't think I've actually seen all of it, to be honest.
I watched the whole thing. It was just.
I will. I'm gonna do like a really awful weekend one time and watch Green Lantern and the Fantastic Four movie and
which one?
The terrible Josh Trank one.
Wasn't there? There were two. And then wasn't there a recent third one?
That's the one I'm talking. Well, no,
there was the first one. Then there was the Silver Surfer one.
Right. There was two with Jessica Alba and then Michael Chiklis.
Then they tried to revamp it.
And then they revamped it 2 years ago.
And it failed
too. It was terrible. Like it was all kinds of production issues. But I'm going to watch that one.
Okay.
And Green Lantern, just to see him, just because I haven't done it.
Of course, I'm when a film is universally acclaimed as being awful, I'm not going to rush to rent it or to stream it or whatever.
Right.
But it's in my mind like, you know what? When I'm in the mood for just something terrible, like Battlefield Earth terrible,
you have to see it.
You got to check it out.
Experience it.
Yeah. But, if for no other reason, just to be able to say, I know what I'm talking about, and yes, it is awful.
Yeah.
And it's not St. Elmo's Fire awful or Magnolia awful, Dan Bauman.
This is not the time. But back to Korg. Yeah, absolutely brilliant performance. So understated and like
that's just what Doug would say.
That's a Doug.
Bye, new Doug.
Bye, new Doug. Yeah. Hey, we're going on spaceship. You want to go? Hey, dude. Just so like
very laid back, very Australian.
New Zealand, I believe.
Is the director?
I believe so. I think he's a Kiwi. I believe he's a Kiwi.
All right. Boy, my apologies to
the entire island.
Yeah,
the entire continent.
I'm an ugly American, but I do understand that Australia and New Zealand are two completely separate things, much like Canada and America are two separate things. But you even have the distance of water between the two of you, so we understand.
We understand.
You are where the hobbits are.
Transgression, yes.
Actually, one of my best friends from high school is the premier concert lighting guy in New Zealand.
Nice.
I mean, he posts pictures, it says, Tom Jones in the office today or Iron Maiden in the office today.
Because
that's just another day. It's like, oh, look, and oh gosh, it's, In Sync or whatever the latest boy band bullshit is. Yeah. But then suddenly it's something awesome like U2's in town or whatever like that.
And New Zealand's not that big from what I understand.
No, it's not. I mean, it's I think it's kind of two islands that are kind of, they're connected
so
together.
There's not my point is there's not many giant venues, so when they when they come, he's the guy who does it.
Yes. Okay. He's the guy.
Right.
He's the guy.
Right.
And he's obviously doing well because it ain't cheap to fly to or from New Zealand, and he comes to the U.S. to travel around and have fun 2-3 times a year.
Oh wow!
He's in Mexico right now.
Yep.
Just seeing like all that time you spent, dealing with that crappy boy band. That paycheck is now funding your trip to to Mexico City or off to gamble in Las Vegas.
Now, what about Valkyrie? What did you think of her?
Best entrance in the history of pretty much any film ever, I would say.
That was pretty strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
The badass ship and landing and looking all hot and coming down the steps and falling right off the ramp into the garbage.
Wait. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
And I didn't know what the heck she was going to do. I thought she was trying to ignite some kind of like weapon from her wrist.
Exactly.
It turns out it's just a, she was basically doing
controlling the ship.
Yeah. What was it? What was that robot fighting movie with the
Hugh Jackman one?
Yeah.
Oh, Real Steel?
Is that something like that?
That's what it was called.
Yeah. Something like that. That film actually did really well.
I heard it was really good.
And I saw the trailer and just went,
it's rockin' talking robots.
I have no interest in this. Like, zero.
Again, heard it was actually good. Like, because they played up, they let him act, and they played up, it was a good story from what I understand. It was like a story about fatherhood, not just robots punching each other. So it wasn't Transformers.
So less Michael Bay, more Michael Reed in the sense that,
There you go.
not...
Yeah, there was an actual story to it that you could discern.
Oh, so basically the Rock'em Sock'em Robots was just a plot device to get you to these human moments between
Exactly.
people. My gosh.
You mean it was well written? Yes.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. Well, heck, one of the trailers, God, I can't remember a single thing about it. I just remember going, this does not need to be a film. And I'm sure that means absolutely nothing to anybody other than the two of us in our... when we sat down, we had what 2-3 hours of previews before we actually got to the film.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I mean, I already had to go to the bathroom by the time the movie started, and we had been sitting there for 2-3 hours.
Yeah, it was nice to see the new Last Jedi trailer on the big screen, which I was happy about.
Well, that look on Luke's face, he's like,
holy
shit. That's
you burned my house down.
that's Kylo Ren PTSD kicking in
for sure, yeah.
hardcore.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm trying to think of anything else in Ragnarok that was pretty great.
Monsignor Elba.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yes, he's great in fucking everything. So.
I challenge anybody to find a film where he is bad. I'm sure he's been in some crap films
I'm sure,
out there. Some people may think this was a crap film. I don't. I think it was a great film.
No, but he's one of those guys who always elevates.
Yeah,
no matter
exactly,
what he's in.
exactly. And the fact that he pretty much, I'd say, 20 minutes of screen time,
maybe,
and that's that's good. Of course, I think in the other Thor films he was far more featured.
Not so much.
If I'm
he was Heimdall. He was just man in the bridge. So he didn't do much other than he was the guy with the sight and he was man in the bridge. So no, he didn't have as much.
He's the keeper of the sword. Oh, and that shake weight in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Carl Urban doing a little goofy.
Wow,
shit
I tell you, McCoy is buff. I mean, he got thick.
Big dude. Yeah. Well, he's Judge Dredd now too.
Oh,
so,
is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, as long as they don't bring back Stallone.
No.
No,
they did another Dredd movie, and from what I understand, he's angling for a Netflix series, like Mega City 1, like Judge Dredd Netflix series.
All right.
I was like, that's cool, go, do. And I don't think he ever took the helmet off like he was supposed to.
Netflix has a little bit of extra money now that they're not funding the production of House of Cards.
Right.
Oh, Kevin, you fucker.
You motherfucker, yeah. But anyway. Yeah, so I don't want to say surprised. I was I enjoyed Thor a lot, and more than the other Thor
Oh yeah,
movies.
well, hell, just from the trailer and the entrance of the Hulk into the arena.
Yeah.
Ha! Yes! He's a friend from work.
From what I understand,
Was that ad-lib? No.
it wasn't ad-libbed.
Oh, okay.
That was suggested by a Make-A-Wish Foundation kid. He was on set for a thing, and the kid said, "Hey, it would be funny if you said you knew him from work." And Hemsworth was like, "I am absolutely going to use that," and fucking made the trailer.
Oh God, I hope that's true. I hope that's
read
a true story.
I believe it is true.
Did you read it on the internet?
I did.
Oh, well, then it must be true.
It must be true.
Absolutely.
So I had to, yeah. But I mean, how great is that? Not only like, hey, that's a funny line. Hey, we're gonna use it. Hey, it's gonna make the movie. Hey, it fucking sold the movie.
Oh, it absolutely. So that was
featured the moment.
That was the trailer. I mean, everything else was like, all right, whatever. Now, the flashback scenes to the original battle between Hela and the Valkyries.
Yeah.
Is it Caravaggio? There's a Gothic painter that does these massive like angels and demon fight. It was that.
Yeah.
They took that into that whole slow motion thing. That was beautiful.
And it's funny, they kind of did the same thing in Wonder Woman too, when they were telling the origin story of Ares and when he was locked away. Same kind of idea, but yes, that was gorgeous.
But it's based on a certain painter.
Yeah.
My brain once says Caravaggio. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
But it's not Bosch. But it would. I just think, wow, I love seeing that kind of aesthetic brought to these films, to any film, if done properly. And it would have sucked if like the battle in present time in the film was done that way, too slow, too weird, but being told as a flashback, to heighten the epicness of it.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
Yep.
So speaking of painters, you're familiar with the famous dogs playing poker?
Yes, of course.
Yes. So I've seen some storyboards from the upcoming Deadpool sequel.
Yeah.
And they're going to use inspiration from the artwork of
Medication time. Medication time.
We ran out of time. I will tell you next week.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Beni Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lohner. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Big Brother, and Eddie, your shipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Piranha Brothers, and LexCorp. Legal counsel by the offices of Howard and Fine. Are you ready to Ragnarok? Original music is written by Tim Akers. This podcast is sponsored by Deep Shag Records and is a production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Listen and watch on YouTube, listen on SoundCloud, stream us on Stitcher, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or email us, comlink@billionpod.com. Until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Michael Reed.
Hello, Z.
Audio Primate.